Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Leaders of Impact. This episode is dedicated to body language, all of the non-verbals, because within leadership or even relationships, whatever it is, there can be a lot of work focused on what you're going to say, the structure, how it's going to be delivered, followed up, and all of that side of things. But how much do you focus on what you're projecting within yourself, on your expressions, on how your physiology is? Because that side of things actually equates for 55% of when you're either in person or when someone can see you online, as in the whole picture. Now, here's the thing to be aware of. The other factor just to consider is when you think about percentages of communication, there's another 38% that is also the tonality, the pitch, the pace, the volume of all of the use of your vocal variety, not the words themselves. When we think about the amount of commitment that we take in what we deliver, think about if you don't match that within the way you project. You could be spending so much time and energy doing all of this amazing work because you've got something so important to share, but it could be on how you want to inspire the people around you, the impact you want to create, which is the whole purpose of this podcast itself. So you could be missing a large body of work here, and that's no pun intended on body language, body of work. But if you are not good within yourself, it will show through how you portray, how you project, the emotions and the energy that emit from you. So think about even your facial expressions. Now, some people are masters of literally putting on masks, but people will sense it, even if you're great at it, because there may be something that someone says that perhaps just comes through that mask, comes through that armor, and you'll have literally perhaps a shift of the head, or perhaps without even meaning to, you might lean back and cross your arms, because everything is about congruence. Now, sometimes, there's things that people may say, and probably one of the most common things that I hear is in body language is, if your arms are crossed, it means you're closed off. And you know what? No, I disagree, because sometimes I'm just quite comfortable sitting with my arms crossed. It's just, feels a better position to put my arms in when I'm sitting down. But here's the thing, where I say congruence, it shows up in you and also paying attention to how other people respond. And that is one example I just gave. And just to reiterate there, is if someone says something that you are not happy about, if you're not really good within yourself, and if a bit of frustration comes up within you, which you've been trying to hide, it could come across as leaning back and folding your arms. And that can come across in someone else. It could come across as in literally shifting your body facing away, or even on the lower part of your body. Now, people can try and master the top of their body, what their hands and arms and even heads doing. But one thing that is a tell is your feet. So if you're sitting in front of someone or standing in front of someone and you say something and their feet literally then shift, even gradually pointing away from you, they want to exit that conversation. So if you're in a difficult conversation, watch what the feet are doing. Are they pointing towards the door when you are when you mention something that's perhaps particularly uncomfortable? Now, the other side of things is even the shoulders. Think about if you are tense, you may have your shoulders raised up more so than often. So think about how this feels. This will also be really good telltale sign for you on your stress levels. Another indication for you to be aware of is, again, congruence. If someone says something and you perhaps put your hand across your chest or in front of your throat or drop your head down, you are actually covering the jugular, this is one of the parts of your body that you may cover when you feel vulnerable. It's protecting the vulnerable place in your body. And again, it's like one of those, things where we cover so much that we have within us that we've evolved from millennia ago, but we are beings that are created for survival. So this is protection. So watch this within yourself or within others. Think about if you've been perhaps to a talk and someone's spoken about something that really hit home, what's your reaction been? Have you kind of almost covered like that? If it's something that really, hit you quite deeply, or perhaps that you found a bit upsetting, have a think about that. The other point is, so that's the one, protection, but the other aspect is, if you say something and someone drops their head down, number one, they're protecting the jugular. It may not be with their hands, it may actually just be with their chin, but they're also exposing the crown of their head, which is exposure for potential rebuttal. So if someone's also about to say something and they drop their head down, be aware it may be something that they feel that you might have a reaction to. Now, if you're going into a meeting, when we speak about body language, if you're feeling tense, if you're feeling nervous, you might be about to perhaps run a meeting. It could be that you're about to get up and deliver a talk. Whatever way it is, think about how nerves show up in your body, because this can sometimes show up as in perhaps shaking. It can be where your heart gets more irregular. It can be the butterflies in your stomach. It can be that your legs feel weak. Whatever way it is, get really familiar with that, because then you can work on grounding and settling yourself. Now, some people, when they're about to go in, they need to be really calm, really centered, or sometimes more energized. So depending on what you need to portray for that moment in time, think about what you do before you speak, before you go in front of people, whether it be online or in person. If you need to be really calm, really centered, really grounded, if it's perhaps a difficult situation, a lot of pressure, a lot going on where you need to steady other people, steady yourself first. It could be where, I don't know, if meditation works for you, but you don't have time to go off and sit down, even just stand for a moment and breathe. Box breathing has a very positive effect on you for the nervous system regulation. Breathing in for 4 seconds through your nose, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, and then hold for another 4. And do that in a cycle of at least 3 to 4 times. Other things that you can do is, even if you tense your whole body up, and then imagine that you're gathering all stress, all nervousness, and then relaxing it all, letting it all go very intentionally. You may want to tense your legs up or scrunch your toes and release. So all these is bringing presence back into your body and not letting your mind take over, because if you let your mind control things when you're feeling nervous or when something is going on that brings tension in, if you let your mind control that and you don't control it, it can perhaps add weight on in a negative way, because we are geared to 80% negativity. So you have to take control of that. Rein it in, identify what that thought is and where it's come from, if it's beneficial or if it's not beneficial, and if it's not, what a better thought is. Now, all of that impacts how it shows up within your body. So body language comes through from your facial expressions, your whole body, and all of that is connected to your feelings, your emotions, and your thoughts. So if you are not feeling good within yourself, that will show. So really look after you. This is where self-care is really important. Now, going back to where I said, if you're about to deliver a presentation, a talk, or run a meeting, I've just gone through, given a really small tip on just being able to be really calm and grounded. But what about if you need to bring energy and more elevated feeling and you're not feeling it yourself? Again, that will show. It will come through even in your tonality, the body itself. Your shoulders may be more slumped, your tone may be slower, your blink rate may be slower. So think about lifting up, and it might even be that you jump, right? You might laugh at that, but seriously, try even for 10 to 15 seconds how you feel if you were to jump up and down or jog on the spot. It lifts the whole energy from being very stagnant to being lighter within yourself. So pay attention to all of your signals and your facial expressions. Be aware of how your face sits when you're stressed, when you're not regulating yourself, when you're irritated. Look at how that shows up. And remember, subconscious picks up on things. So if you're really not good within yourself, that will come through. Be very tuned into yourself, how you respond, how you react. The more tuned in you are now, because I don't want you to have to sit and think about every movement. And that's what you're going to have to do if you're not regulated within yourself. Because the ironic thing is, The better you are within you, the more calm, grounded, healthier, the more work you do on yourself, whether it be you listen to positive audios every single day or surround yourself with the right people. If you've got your vision and the internal state really strong, you won't even have to think about the outside. That will just come naturally in the best way possible. This then leans directly into emotional intelligence, that self-awareness and self-regulation, and allows you to take it to the next level of the social awareness and social regulation. The better you are within you, the more you can pick up on outside circles and people and them and how they are responding to you. And then you can also educate and allow them to do the same. So imagine that if you've got a whole team that's very self-aware and regulated, and then socially aware and regulated, you've got that whole ripple effect, and it starts with you and your ability to regulate yourself, your thoughts, your body language. Now, think about this as one final thing. All of this counts, whether it be online, in video, in Zoom meetings, Teams, and in person. Everything matters. Everything is connected. Because if you're in a meeting, if you are in person, be conscious of if you've perhaps got your phone sitting in front of you, and if you're checking it. That, again, is body language saying, I am not paying attention to you. Something else is more important to me right now. Same as in if you are in a Teams or Zoom or however you meet online, if you are constantly checking either your phone sitting in front of you or on another screen, it will show. So be present and tune out all distractions, because that will come across and that will also leave people feeling that they're not priority when they are having a meeting or a conversation with you. So I would love to hear from you. What do you do currently to regulate yourself? Is there any things within body language that show up within you? Now, also a couple of other things. When you're nodding very gently, not too much, because then obviously people, that could come across as a bit odd. When you're nodding very gently, people feel 3 to 4 times more comfortable to actually be able to speak and open up with you. Be aware of mirroring and matching. Now, if someone was sitting like this and you were to either mirror with the same arms or the same leaning of the head or legs, whatever it is, people feel more subconsciously at ease. This is also how you can check to see if they're in tune with you. If you were to perhaps very slightly change position, and then if they also move with you, you can see if they are still connected and still engaged in rapport with you. So there's lots of areas like this. So if there's things that you'd like to hear me cover in this side of things, on body language, on rapport, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. So you can either comment in this post or even go onto the website and you can send me an email. So that's through inspiredcoaching.au. Thank you so much for watching. I hope some of this has left you a bit of food for thought on how you show up within yourself, as in all the ways that are not verbal. I will see you in episode 10.